well on eStar, there's no point to try and put him onto something where he's not in that carry.
Also, eStar don't play super late game, generally speaking, so I don't know if the center... Like, Aphelios, even though he's a super late... Like, he's really strong when you get to the late game. He's also good at the mid game. It's not like he's useless in the earlier stages of the game, whereas Senna, especially early on, feels pretty hopeless.
Well, we are seeing eStar at least go for that late game scaling this time around with the first two picks. The Ornn is locked in alongside the Aphelios, so now BLG will more than likely teeter back towards. It looks like the Trundle going to be locked in, and now I'd like to see them lock in a support, something that they can try and go a little bit aggressive against, but with that LeBlanc left open, Fofo will pick that up nice and quickly. So definitely looking at this early to mid game for BLG where they can play through skirmishes with Fofo on this LeBlanc.
See what FunFun is going to answer, because it is going to be the mid lane based on these hovers. But once again, third time this series, it is going to be Best grabbing the Trundle for himself. And the Trundle has felt fine. I don't think Best has been particularly an issue. It's been the way that he's had to play because of eStar that's been the issue for them. FunFun goes for this Galio once again. And you can see the win rate for Galio, 56%. There's been a good amount of presence from the Stone Giant in the LPL, and it's been looking great.
It does really well against some of these more damage and assassin-orientated mid laners like the LeBlanc, like the Syndra, because you're just able to push the wave back, you're able to absorb a lot of the damage, and then shut down any sort of roam potential thanks to that ultimate. So Galio's starting to rise into those mid laners just because you've got so much damage from the Aphelioses and your AD carries in the bottom lane. But now we are into that second ban phase, and with no supports locked in so far, and no jungler locked in for eStars, I imagine that's where we're going to be seeing a lot of the attention put towards.
Maokai being banned away by eStar. Maokai bans were not what I was expecting coming in today, Doctor.
Well, ADD is a big tank player, so when you bring him in, you expect them to go towards this more tank-orientated style, known as a big Scion player back in the day as well. And we have seen a few Scions about the place, but more so into the likes of the Wukong and that style, so I would be surprised to see the Scion coming through here for ADD.
There was a Scion in LEC, I believe.
Yeah, Caboshard actually played it into the Ornn, which is why I'm kind of tossing it in there that maybe we do see it.
Could see it coming on through. I can't say it's a matchup I'm particularly experienced in, because Scion has been out of the meta for a good old while at this point, but
I don't think Scion was even in meta when Ornn was a thing. Although, I don't know, Ornn's been in for a while now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out as this game tells its story, Dagda. But looking over towards the carries
Wink
here.
is giving a shout out to Uzi as well. Don't forget, RNG was where Wink started. He was actually trained under Uzi, so looks like it might have been a little bit of a shout out to his old mentor there.
Oh, you love to see it. Obviously, he already has the Aphelios for himself. And looking towards the jungler, and it's the Rek'Sai. This is something that has been in the LEC a good amount, and it's now going to show its head here in the LPL. This is the first time we've seen it this split.
It's interesting to see, though, because when you think towards Rek'Sai, you think of this early game aggression, and so far it's been reasonably later game scaling coming through from eStar, so Wei is still going to need to get out early and have a big impact in the early stages, or he runs the risk of just falling super far behind.
Leona going to be the pickup here for Shinmo. Kind of similar to the Blitzcrank we saw out of Xiaoxi along Wink's Ezreal, a very aggressive support that can start things off. And Ezreal typically not the AD carry that you'd pair with them, but if you can get a lead like he started last game, Ezreal does fine.
Okay, we're going to get the Kale for ADD. So this is something that we've seen Khan bring out. We've seen a couple of people bring out against the Ornn, because there's not very much Ornn can do to stop you from farming up. And when you get to the later stages, obviously that level 11 onwards as Kale, you can have massive impact. So suddenly you're answering very well with this Kale pick for the Aphelios, for that later game scaling his Ornn. But it looks like eStar are going to double down and go, hey, look, you guys are going late game. We can go even later game.
Yeah, we've got two hyper carries in the game right now. That's just Kale and Cassidy I'm talking about. No, Aphelios hasn't even come into the conversation yet. Now we've got an Ornn to power things up. We're going long in game number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen, which is uncharacteristic for eStar. This is not the style they usually play.
And it feels like Wei has kind of been lost in the draft here now as a result, because you've got this Rek'Sai whose strengths lie between levels 1 to 6. Well, your Cassidy doesn't want you to really come near them, and maybe down towards this bottom side with Wink and Xiaoxi flexing that Galio down there, you can try and make some plays, but otherwise Wei, if he's not able to get a gank in the bot lane or towards this Ornn in the top lane, is just going to be outscaled massively and just become a dead weight.
Honestly, when we look at the draft, do I dare say it, maybe it's leaning the way of BLG, which is not something I expected to say in this series. But hey, we are seeing a new style out of eStar, which is exactly what we asked for at the start of today. We said they were one-dimensional. They always just go for early game fights. Let's see a different style. This is it, Doctor.
It's a different style on both sides, because usually when we look at BLG, you've got at least Kingen or ADD on some sort of aggressive play. Oh, sorry, not aggressive play, some sort of engage-orientated champion. So you've still got, as we saw, the Hecarim, you've got the Ornn, we've seen Maokai's, we've seen all these kind of different champions coming in. But now that you are relying on Shinmo to be your main engage and trying to pair alongside Trundle to disrupt the kite back from eStar, it's taken on a very different form, and I'd be interested to see now how they play with this more backline-orientated top lane.
We'll see if Shinmo is going to be up to the task of being the solo engaged. Shinmo, a player that hasn't really made his name just yet in the LPL. He's looking to try and prove himself a little bit. Came into BLG 2019 summer. He's never really been a pop-off performer.
Yeah, he was over from EDG Youth and trained under Mako for a little bit, but we've seen splashes of him every so often. He does like to sometimes get these early roams off towards mid lane, but they're not very consistent. He hasn't been exactly the most standout. He's fine, but now this is where he's got to step up when it comes to those engages.
To be fair to him, in that first split in 2019 summer, they did manage to finish 4th place. It's not like he wasn't. It's not like he was a bad support or anything like that. You look really confused, Dagda.
Fofo's gone Hail of Blades LeBlanc.
Oh. Indeed he has.
So,
well, Dagda, you're my analyst. Explain Hail of Blades LeBlanc to me. So the way that I'm assuming this is working is that Fofo is like, okay, I'm going to look just to consistently get these procs of Hail of Blades for my auto attacks, but it's not like LeBlanc's auto attacks deal a huge amount of damage. I still would have preferred the Electrocute here, so you can just trade super aggressively with Fen whenever or Fen even whenever he tries to go for these trades, and you can see like that's how that's supposed to go. I mean, the auto attacks at least get bypass that shield in the casting queue, but Magic Shield will work. It's genius. It's the perfect build, Dagda. We've just figured out the new meta. We'll have to see. Xiaoxi gets a knock off Shinmo, traded with a stun, and Ignite actually comes down. Xiaoxi forced to flash. Heal came out from Wink as well. Really nice tempered aggression here from BLG.
It was Xiaoxi's heal. Wink has actually gone for the cleanse there to make sure that he's not getting locked up too heavily, but Xiaoxi forced to burn everything is not where they wanted to start off this game.
Certainly not. Xiaobai on the Ornn up against this Kayle in the top lane, and this is a really nice lane for Kayle because Ornn, while you do have some damage, typically you're not going to be able to kill threat in the top lane against this Kayle.
I want to go back to our summoner spells though. Or sorry, not our summoner spells, our rune choices here, but I will after this gank in top lane.
Yeah, because Best is coming in and Xiaobai is the target. Doesn't have the Searing Charge available. He's slowed by the red buff, already flashed, and ADD might just get first blood on a Kayle.
And there's so little you can do as Xiaobai here. You saw Wei pathing down towards the bot side to clear, so he's not going to be able to help out. Best finally getting some of these early ganks off and really helping out. We are looking at the rune choice here from Fofo, Taste of Blood and Transcendence, with not really anything weird when it comes to the rest of the runes, but just that Hail of Blades. Wei now on the top side trying to answer. Yeah,
and the flash was used by ADD, so I don't think he can get himself away from this one. We'll see who gets the kill. It's going to be given to Wei there. Xiaobai not going for the auto.
I don't think Wei needs to invest his flash though, because Rek'Sai without a flash is kind of useless. So now you put yourself in a 5 minutes of not having that engage there. So I think you could have just walked into lane as Wei. Either way though, they will end up getting that kill. And the summoners, or the rune choices I want to talk about was the Unsealed Spellbook, because it gives Xiaoxi in the bottom lane access to a whole bunch of these summoner spells. And Nimbus Cloak has become so prevalent on so many supports because of that speed up that was changed a while ago to increase on melee champions. So, alongside the Phase Rush, but sorry, I'm getting myself confused. Phase Rush was. Nimbus Cloak is still just super good. And Xiaoxi's going to be looking to try and use this to run into people with that big taunt.
Xiaobai just bashes ADD in the top side, and that is the old Ornn combo that you can go with. And that is, it's going to be nice that they were able to shut ADD down slightly, but realistically, he's still going to be able to farm away. You can see he's got the call for himself. And Wei, he knows it. And he does not want ADD to be able to just farm away.
No flash here, and should be able to set this play up nicely. Wei has now been spotted, so ADD trying to freeze this wave just in front of the turret.
It's going to go under the turret, though, and Wei can move on in here. Cannon is going to be there. Misses the knock-up from Xiaobai here. ADD still surviving. Xiaobai has to back away. Wei takes a tower shot. Oh, I thought that was a second one onto Wei there. I thought he was doomed. ADD, very nicely played. Oh, the Halo Blades. Get the autos in quick, Fofo. This is your chance to prove us all wrong. Doesn't get the kill, though.
Does get a lot of damage down and will force Fun back. Top lane, though, Best trying to get up here, see if he can catch out Wei returning to his jungle.
I actually kind of like the Halo Blades here. Look at the top lane. This is just pure action. The pillar is there. Wei denies Best from moving too far in, though, and Xiaobai survives. In the meantime, we've got a 2v2. It's all action all day long, Dagda. Wink going to be dishing out the damage. Gets a Graviton onto two of them. Shinmo knocked up, and his Eclipse has fallen off, but there's a TP. Wink can't finish off the kill. Now he's onto Wings as well, but Fofo has arrived. Wink goes forward, but Eclipse keeps the Leona safe. Shall see the wins a war. Won't quite do it.
Solid effort from the eStar bot lane to try and trade when you know you're going to die either way to Fofo, but teleport usage from the LeBlanc on point. Best in top lane now.
This game is bonkers. Xiaobai now knocked back by the pillar. ADD should be able to finish this kill off. Best going to tank a tower shot for it. But there we have it. Another one for the Kale.
And BLG are off to the races so far. 2,000 gold lead in 6 minutes. This is what we wanted to see from BLG.
This is nuts. Maybe they can take on eStar.
But this is almost what happens all the time with BLG. You get this one game that gives you hope. But the thing is, because they had the mess up from Wei in game number 1, they're now in a really good spot. This could be BLG beating eStars with this early game lead.
Maybe the one game of glory is all they need to take a very important series away from eStar here. And Wei, oh, this is a lot of pressure on him to perform in this game right now.
Well, what's he able to do? He has no flash available, so he struggles to get in against ADD unless he's got Xiaobai set up. Bot lane has gone all disastrously for eStar, so he can't really get in there either. So now Wei is hitting the point where Best is going to start outscaling him, he'll be able to outperform him, and Wei isn't able to do anything in his lanes.
Well, that takes actually a pretty reasonable trade for himself there. Has hit the level 6 mark now, so expect this Kassadin to at least be able to be a part of something and be able to trade back a little bit with Fofo. He's still going to have a hard time in the laning phase, though. And actually could be in trouble. No, jumps away with the Rift Walk and keeps himself safe.
So Fofo with this new tech, trying to see what he can show off, and it's been working pretty well. I mean, a 20 CS lead for the LeBlanc, and
Wei's being bullied away from this blue buff this time, and there's going to be an ethereal change. Fun has his flash. A Rift Walk over the wall is going to be enough.
A lot of members from...
True Shot Barrage? No. Nah, Fun went back mid. Never mind.
I was looking at a lot of members of eStar starting to collapse in around the jungle, but they didn't go for anything.
We're getting so many little smatterings of action, but it's not quite a full fight. It's not quite the full play.
But here's the thing, right? BLG winning top, BLG winning mid, BLG winning bot lane. And now you've got Best, who can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants on the map. The Dragon did go over towards eStars. Wei did a good job to steal that away. But when we look towards Rift Herald and stuff, this should be BLG picking it up.
I've just seen something that makes me feel a little bit sick. Is this an AD LeBlanc? Fofo has a cult. No. He also has a cutlass.
I would not expect it to be AD LeBlanc. Ages ago, it used to be a thing, but you can still go Gunblade, which is definitely something that does work for a lot of assassins. So that is still the build you can go. It was one that came out that's a lot more mid-game focused, but I think that's what Fofo and Wings are trying to do here is go, okay, well, if we go for this mid-game where Fofo and Wings can help carry in just while eStar is still struggling to get up and rolling, well, then when we get to the super late game, ADD can have a bunch of gold already invested into the BLG side and be the insurance.
Part of the problem, once again, is that, yes, BLG very much are going to have advantages in the early game. We said already, eStar, they want to be scaling, but they haven't played like they want to scale. They've been fighting. They've been going into these skirmishes with BLG.
And that's because Wei is on this Rek'Sai. You need to be able to do something or you just become a non-factor.
Well, this minion wave is a non-factor thanks to Xiaobai. Just has to use his Call of the Forge God there. Keep himself safe in the top side.
So Xiaobai has Ignite as well, so we're not able to use that. I'm not sure if he has the teleport up, but definitely won't be able to use that to get back to lane. So now your Xiaobai have been forced right the way back to your tier 2 to be safe. ADD is shoving in, so Xiaobai falling further behind. Fofo, we already know how well he's doing in this mid lane with the 30 CS lead. Like, this is BLG looking really good. I just want to see them start to pick up a little bit more. You already saw Best as we talked about getting that Rift Arrow, so using that either towards this top lane or the mid lane could work really well. But I'd love to see him get ADD just accelerated as far as possible.
I'm really curious if it is going to be this Gunblade coming through for Fofo. It's just the Halo Blades. That's the only thing that I'm like, maybe it could be AD.
We will find off this back. I still think it's the Gunblade. Like, this was something where, because you had the Active and because you had a lot of, there we go, the Gunblade, so a lot more mixed damage coming in, or at least you had a lot more mid-game orientated damage with the burst from the Gunblade. It worked out really, really well. But the reason we don't see this often is because you want to be able to scale to the later stages, but they've ADD to rely on in that respect. So looking to just have this mid-game orientated build.
He's spotted by the ward and try. He doesn't even know that ward's there. Chelsea still sticking around though, surprisingly. Gets a taunt actually, and now they found themselves a fight. Knockups galore. Goodbye Best. Teleport in from ADD. He wants to turn this into a fight for themselves. Fofo comes in as well. That's going to be some judgment coming on through. But they've managed to protect Fun, and now ADD forced to flash away. Xiaobai's arrived. Call of the Forge God still on cooldown from the plate in the top lane, and Wink has to flash out for his own life. Moonlight Vigil, though, is going to answer for one kill. Wings gets the AD carry down, and now Xiaobai locked on up. Wings should be able to finish this kill off for himself. In fact, ADD gets the credit. It's going to be 2 for 3 and a bit of a brawl.
But BLG coming out on top once again, and especially off of just those first items being completed by Fofo. Also, a lot of damage coming out from Wings because you've got Wink who's not quite able to get to a position to fight properly. They're able to pick up the fight. They're getting this dragon as well for themselves. And ADD is getting accelerated so far.
This is exactly what you talk about. eStar just start fights, whether it's good or not.
And it's the same bully squad again, away Chelsea and Fun. They've moved in here, they start to take this fight, but look where Wink is. He's completely out of position. He can't really go for it to auto-attack onto anyone because Wings is pressuring him off to the side. He has to be careful of Fofo coming over a wall on top of him, Shinmo getting the stun, and the second any sort of damage lands, he's out. Fun isn't in a position to fight yet, and that's kind of where a lot of this boils down to is eStar don't want to be fighting now. They want to be scaling, they want Kassadin to get towards 3-4 items, the same with Wink, and they're still opting for these fights.
Yeah, and you know, Xiaobai came down to the fight. He even used his teleport to get there, but ultimately, he didn't have Call of the Forge God, so there's not a whole lot that Ornn is really going to do for you in a team fight scenario. He's now 0-3 on this Ornn. Wei wants to change that fact, though. ADD's in trouble, doesn't have his flash. Isn't going to get caught by the ultimate, though. Xiaobai trying to find himself a knock-up. Ult used by Wei here. Oh my days, the damage. There's another kill for Wei. At least they find some things going their way.
Well, why does it matter, right? I mean, Xiaobai is not going to really need the extra damage, or, well, damage reduction, I suppose, and he's not going to benefit too much from a kill. Same when it comes to Wei. We already said this Rek'Sai is going to fall off a cliff in a couple of minutes, so having the plays towards topside slows down ADD a bit, but it hasn't really dismantled AD or BLG's plan here.
No, but they did get a kill, Dagda, so I can celebrate that, all right? Trying to find the positives. Trying to find the positives here, buddy. And, you know, a kill is a kill is a kill is a kill. Wei, he's going for the AD route. He's going to have a lot of damage on this Rek'Sai, at least for the time being.
Yeah, he's just trying to extend how long he's going to be have an impact in this game. And the more AD you go, maybe you can get some assassinations off. But as I said, once you start to get towards the 20-25 minute mark, Wei's just not going to be able to have an impact. It's going to be really difficult for him to even get into these fights because you can't get onto Fofo, Wings, ADD, and Best will be there with pillars to try and stop this Rek'Sai from going too aggressive.
That'll be where the onus is here, especially on Shinmo on this Leona. You can deny that Rek'Sai a lot of what he wants to do when it comes to starting those fights. A lot of it is going to be about positioning, and and selecting the right fights for eStar. This is one of the biggest criticisms we always have of them is it's tempered aggression, right? Don't just fight for the sake of fighting. Fight when it's appropriate. And that's something that they haven't necessarily mastered.
No, they definitely haven't. And what they're waiting for on eStar's side is either you can go towards this 1-4 where FunFun will eventually be able to go very aggressive in a side lane. I'm pretty sure you can even beat out ADD when it gets to the super late game because you can go in super aggressively, force the judgment out of Kale, and then get out of tower range once again. And then FunFun has kill pressure and should be able to start a split push, but we'll have to see if he ever gets that point because there's so much damage that KDD has. And Fofo.
The Gunblade build is pretty good,
yeah,
I've decided.
It's not bad at all.
That was a lot of damage. Fofo gets actually caught by the taunt, but the chains goes down, and Shousey now going to be stunned up. Wings goes in with the True Shot Barrage. Shousey's relatively tanky already, has the Merc Tread, so gets away with his life. They're just buying time, though, because Best, he's on the Herald.
So as long as eStar are able to go hand in hand with BLG to the late game, as I said, FunFun should win out in a split push, and then you've got the other 4 members who should just win out because you've got that nice little Aphelios, you've got the Ornn who's going to be this big beefy front line. The problem is though, BLG are doing a great job of having these 3 lanes that are in their advantage and pushing this super aggressively. Towers are dropping, you've got a bunch of these Rift Herald plates that have gone their way as well. But in the bottom lane,
could be in trouble. Shinmo is here as well, though, but Wei comes in, and they're going to focus onto Shinmo. I'm not sure he's really the best target. Wei's in trouble. He's going to go in, but there's a stopwatch, and it's going to deny everything. Wink barely surviving in the meantime as FunFun desperate to escape, but Wings says no. I wanted to pop off from Wings, and we might just get it.
And now Wink is nearly dying to fall from the mid. ADD is pushing top. He's just hit level 11. He's hit Mass Kale, and he's shoving consistently.
It's going to really start to hammer home. Wings goes to the True Shot Barrage just to clear up that next minion wave. Get ready to continue pushing this lead forwards.
How have BLG come out swinging in this game? This has been so good from them and so bad from eStar. I'm still baffled by this Rek'Sai pick. It felt so out of place here. And you can see no damage. Forced to go underneath the tower there because of the auto attack would have actually killed him, but Shinmo pops the stopwatch and FunFun dies as well.
Beautifully done from Wings to flash after the play as well. That's the second Drake going the way of BLG. Important to mention, it is going to be that Cloud Soul, so not the best soul in the game, but still useful. Oh my days, the damage onto Wink once again. Taunt doesn't do anything. Wink is going to be in trouble around this mid game. He's on Aphelios. You don't have any mobility. There's not really anyone that can protect you either.
Well, how do eStar even begin to get into a position where they can actually fight as a front to back or anything along those lines against BLG? Because ADD ain't giving up his position in the side lane. He knows that right now he beats out FunFun, he beats out everyone on eStar. Fofo as well is just happy to go to a side lane now as well and then try and put pressure onto wherever's in front of him. So BLG are just going to try and use both their solo laners to win out this game.
ADD and Best underneath their tower here. Wei has moved in, pretending he wants to go for a play. He's going to be the one caught out, though. Xiaobai gets a knockup, but let's bear in mind, ADD's on Kale and he's free firing. This is not a fight that can go well for eStar right now.
You've got FunFun and Xiaobai in the same lane on bottom side, though. As long as BLG keep them here, well, you can have Fofo keep pushing on the top side. So you can see there that wave about to crash in the top lane turret. Wink will be there to try and collect it, but you're still dragging eStar all over the place.
This is exactly what they need to do, just continuously force the issue, right? Make eStar answer you, whatever you do.
By the way, we've been harping on about ADD and Fofo. Wings is 4-0 right.
Yeah.
He's got his Iceborne Gauntlet, he's got his Vamp Scepter, he's working right up towards that Death Stance. Everywhere across the board, BLG are in great spot. It's 7,000 gold right now.
I'm starting to think that maybe Ezreal ain't that weak in the early game, especially against Aphelios, because these lanes are consistently going Ezreal's way. Oh, he's going to be stunned up. Nicely done by Shousey to block the Mystic shot.
Great pillar. He kept him locked in place, but Wink not blowing anything, keeping us cool in that situation. But you see here, Fofo putting pressure onto top side, ADD on bottom lane. It's
So let's at least talk about the silver lining that exists for eStar, and that is that they have a castle win, they have an Aphelios as well. They are looking to make a play onto Fofo. This time there's no stopwatch. And Wei just about survives the tower as well. Another kill. It's going the way of Wei every single time, though.
Yeah, Fun not being able to pick up a few of these. Now we got TPs actually from eStar. They're looking to move in here. I'm not sure what. Well, look, it's a support. You're not really needed. You got the Unsealed Spellbook, just hop it through.
When you see a TP, you think big play.
But
right?
they've committed so many members to the top side. ADD is still on this bottom lane after taking the tower.
Oh no, Wink's in trouble. Flashes sideways. I was a little bit worried that flash wouldn't save him right there, but he was going towards his team. Fun is going to be able to finish his tower, and this is the silver lining I was talking about, right? You are going to be a Kassadin in the late game. You are going to be an Aphelios in the late game. It's just a matter of getting to the late game. That's where the issue lies.
But we're 20 minutes in. BLG are so far accelerated, and you've got a Kayle on the opposite side. It's not like you just automatically win. You've still got to try and get past ADD, who's looking amazing right now. He's been farming up a storm in these side lanes. He's been able to get a bunch of this tower gold in for himself as well, which is why you're seeing 2 items completed and now working towards that third, whereas over on the likes of this Aphelios, well, Wink has only started his second item.
It's almost a 6,000 gold lead already, Doctor. This is something to behold, honestly, from BLG, because they're not usually the team that you talk about when you want to go for early aggression and snowballing a win, but they're making it look easy right now. They're making it look like this is something they do every day. So, obviously, we've talked a bit about eStar. We've talked about, like, the potential of late-game win conditions, although it's a long way off. What is it for BLG now? How do they continue to snowball this and not get just caught at this stage of the game? Because we've seen teams have huge leads before and just kind of stall out.
Well, the best way for them to continue on here is to have Fofo do just this. Keep Xiaobai occupied in the side lane.
He's going to get knocked up and he's going to get Ornn comboed right here. Xiaoxi comes on in and Fofo forced out of this one. Xiaobai goes on forward. They're trying to finish Fofo, but they just can't do it. Xiaoxi doesn't get the taunt and Best has arrived to finish off the Ornn. Fofo gets the kill credit. Fun goes down as well. The answer is here for BLG and Fofo. He was just baited.
They can turn towards Baron as well. You've got Xiaobai down, you've got Fun down. Wink can't enter these fights for fear of Fofo, so BLG turn towards the big purple worm.
Wing's going to start this one off. ADD's here as well, and Shinmo, he can just play keep away on this one and stop anyone from stepping forwards. You can see Wei off to the side with his sweeper. He'd love to get his way into the pit. He'd love to do something, but they were just baiting all along. They wanted to fight this whole time. Fofo's there. Wink has got to go. There's nothing he can do. What am I talking about? He goes down. Xiaoxi walks away. I don't want to say it, Doctor. This might be hopeless for eStar.
I'm pretty sure it's a bit hopeless for eStar. BLG are not giving them the opportunity to take anything on the map. They're picking off members, and as we talked about, look, Wei is useless at this point. There's nothing you can do. Xiaoxi is tempting face trying to taunt Fofo in these fights, but you're trying to play against the dice roll because Fofo can hop in and out. And in these fights, well, BLG are doing a great job of collapsing across multiple members. ADD teleporting in here, and even though you think you can nearly kill someone, well, you still got ADD's judgment there to keep people safe. BLG getting towards their third dragon now. They're going to push in. And Fofo, 5-1, can split push against both Xiaobai and Fun. You've now got ADD as well with that Baron buff. Very close to level 16. We'll be able to split push in another lane. And look how big Wings is. You can't even fight him as Wing.
Do you know what, Doctor?
Yes.
If this is how they're going to play for the rest of the split, count me a BLG fan.
You know they're not going to, though. You know that this is what happens.
Doctor,
BLG
I'm ready
look
to believe.
so good at least one game in their series. If any of their series go to a 3-game series, they will look phenomenal in one game.
But that was the BLG curse, right? It was usually one of the first 2 games, and they would get to 3 games, and they'd still manage to lose somehow. Ooh, Wing just gets away with his life. We don't have time to talk, because they're forcing the issue. Shinmo executes him with the sun. And now Wings jump straight onto the backline. Fun. It's not often that you see a Kassadin running away from an Ezreal, but that is what's happening before us. And BLG, they know how far ahead they are, and they've got this one bang to rights. They've got... it's 24 minutes. They've got an 11,000 gold lead. They've got Baron. They've got everything they could ever need.
BLG looking so damn good in this game, and they're going to look to close it out.
BLG. Apparently it stands for bloody good at this point, because they are going to be able to find themselves a series win against eStar. They're going to take the Nexus down with nothing but 6 kills from eStar. Phenomenal game from BLG and a surprising upset to say the least.
Absolutely amazing from BLG.